Welcome back to English Flow, the podcast where we explore ideas that matter, conversations that inspire, and topics that make you think. I'm your host, and today we're diving into something incredibly important, something that every single person listening to this needs to hear. Today's episode is called Don't Waste Your Life. Now, I know that might sound heavy, maybe even a little dramatic, but stick with me here because what we're going to talk about today could genuinely change the trajectory of your life. And I don't say that lightly. Let me start with a question. Have you ever had one of those moments where you're lying in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, and you suddenly realize that another day has passed, another week, another month, and you can't really remember what you did with all that time? It's like the days just blur together. You went to work, you scrolled through your phone, you watched some shows, you went to sleep, and then you did it all over again. And somewhere deep inside, there's this uncomfortable feeling, this whisper that says, is this it? Is this all there is? If you've ever felt that way, you're not alone. In fact, I'd argue that most people feel this way more often than they'd like to admit. We're living in an age where we're more connected than ever before, yet somehow we feel more disconnected from what actually matters. We have more entertainment options than any generation in history, yet we're more bored. We have more convenience, yet we feel less fulfilled. So today, I want to talk about what it really means to not waste your life. And more importantly, I want to give you practical ways to make sure that you're living intentionally, purposefully, and in a way that you'll be proud of when you look back years from now. Let's start with the big question. What does it actually mean to waste your life? Here's what it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean you have to become a millionaire. It doesn't mean you need to be famous or travel to 100 countries or achieve some extraordinary feat that gets written about in history books. Wasting your life isn't about what you don't accomplish in the eyes of the world. It's about what you don't become in your own eyes. Wasting your life means going through the motions without ever stopping to ask yourself if this is really what you want. It means postponing your dreams indefinitely, always saying someday, but never taking action. It means numbing yourself with distractions instead of facing the uncomfortable truth that you're not happy with where you are. Wasting your life means spending years in a job that drains your soul just because it's safe. It means staying in relationships that don't help you grow just because you're afraid of being alone. It means never taking risks, never pursuing your passions, and never becoming the person you're capable of being. Here's a sobering thought. The average person lives about 4,000 weeks. Let that sink in. For 1,000 weeks. That sounds like a lot until you start subtracting. If you're 25, you've already used about 1,300 of those weeks. If you're 40, you're past the 2,000-week mark. I'm not saying this to depress you. I'm saying this to wake you up. Because time is the one resource you can never get back. You can always make more money. You can always make new friends. But you can't make more time. The comfort zone trap. One of the biggest ways people waste their lives is by staying too comfortable for too long. Let me explain. There's nothing wrong with comfort itself. We all need periods of rest, stability, and peace. But here's the problem. Comfort is addictive. The longer you stay comfortable, the harder it becomes to leave that comfort zone. And growth, real, meaningful growth, only happens outside of comfort. Think about it. When did you grow the most as a person? Was it during the easy times when everything was going smoothly? Or was it during the challenging times when you were forced to adapt, learn, and push yourself beyond what you thought you could do? For most of us, our greatest growth comes from our greatest challenges. It comes from taking risks, from failing and getting back up, from doing things that scare us. But what do we do instead? We settle. We take the safe job instead of pursuing our passion. We stay in our hometown instead of exploring the world. We avoid difficult conversations instead of addressing problems. We scroll through social media instead of working on our goals. And year after year, We wonder why we feel stuck. We wonder why life feels flat. We wonder why we're not growing. The answer is simple. You can't grow and stay comfortable at the same time. You have to choose. The distraction epidemic. Let's talk about distraction because this is huge. We're living in the most distracted era in human history, and it's quietly stealing our lives away. Think about how much time you spend on your phone each day. Be honest with yourself. For the average person, it's somewhere between 3 and 5 hours. Some people are up at 7 or 8 hours a day. That's a full-time job's worth of time, every single day, doing nothing but consuming content. Now, I'm not saying all screen time is bad. Technology is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used wisely or poorly. But here's what I am saying. Every minute you spend mindlessly scrolling is a minute you're not spending building your dreams, developing your skills, nurturing your relationships, or doing anything meaningful. Social media, streaming platforms, video games, endless news cycles. These things are designed to capture and hold your attention. There are literally thousands of engineers whose entire job is to make these platforms as addictive as possible, and they're really good at it. So when you pick up your phone to check one notification and suddenly an hour has disappeared, that's not an accident. You're not weak-willed. You're up against some of the most sophisticated behavioral psychology and technology in the world. But here's the thing, it's still your choice. You can choose to be intentional about how you use technology, or you can let it use you. You can be the person who controls your attention, or you can be the person whose attention is controlled by algorithms designed to keep you hooked. The question is, 5 years from now, what do you want to spend your time on? Do you want to look back and realize you spent thousands of hours watching other people live their lives on social media? Or do you want to look back and see that you spent that time building something meaningful, living with intention? So how do we avoid wasting our lives? The answer, in one word, is intention. Living with intention means making conscious choices about how you spend your time and energy. It means deciding what matters to you and then aligning your daily actions with those values. It means being deliberate instead of just drifting. Here's a powerful exercise you can do right now, wherever you are. Imagine it's the end of your life. You're looking back on everything you've done, everything you've experienced, and everything you've become. What would you want to see? What would make you feel like your life was well lived? Maybe it's the relationships you built, deep, meaningful connections with people you love. Maybe it's the work you did, something that made a difference, however big or small. Maybe it's the experiences you had, the adventures you went on, the risks you took, the things you learned. Whatever it is for you, write it down. Get crystal clear on what matters most to you. Because once you know what you value, you can start living in a way that honors those values. The problem is, most people never do this exercise. They never stop to think about what they actually want from life. They just do what's expected of them, what's easy, what's comfortable. And then they wake up decades later wondering where all the time went. Don't be that person. Be intentional. Decide what matters. And then start living accordingly. Taking action today. Here's where the rubber meets the road. Because knowing what you should do is one thing. Actually doing it is another thing entirely. So let me give you some practical steps you can take today, literally today, to start living more intentionally and stop wasting your life. First, do a time audit. For 1 week, track how you actually spend your time. Write down everything: work, sleep, eating, exercising, entertainment, social media, everything. At the end of the week, look at where your time went. Is it aligned with what you say you value? If not, you know what needs to change. Second, identify your biggest time wasters. For most people, this is going to be social media, streaming services, or other forms of passive entertainment. I'm not saying you need to eliminate these things entirely, but be honest about how much time they're taking and whether that's really how you want to spend your limited days on Earth. Third, create a stop doing list. Everyone has a to-do list. But what about a stop-doing list? What are you currently doing that doesn't serve you? What commitments, habits, or activities could you cut out to make room for what actually matters? Fourth, start something today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when the time is right. Today. Whatever that dream or goal is that you've been putting off, take the first tiny step right now. Send that email. Make that phone call. Write the first paragraph. Do the first workout. The momentum starts with the first action. Fifth, surround yourself with people who inspire you. Jim Rohn said you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Look at your inner circle. Are these people who challenge you to grow? Who support your dreams? Who live with intention themselves? If not, you might need to expand your circle. The power of small choices. Here's something that might surprise you. Your life isn't changed by big, dramatic moments. It's changed by small choices made consistently over time. Going to the gym once won't transform your body, but going consistently for a year will. Writing 1 page won't create a book, but writing 1 page a day for 6 months will. Having one meaningful conversation won't fix a relationship, but having them regularly over time will. The problem is we tend to overestimate what we can do in a day and underestimate what we can do in a year. We want instant results, instant transformation, instant gratification. But real change doesn't work that way. Real change is the compound effect of small decisions made over and over again. It's choosing to read instead of scroll. It's choosing to have a difficult conversation instead of avoiding it. It's choosing to work on your goals instead of watching another episode. Each choice might seem small in the moment, but over time, these choices add up to a completely different life. Think about it like this. If you improve by just 1% every day for a year, you'll be 37 times better by the end of that year. That's the power of compound growth. But it only works if you're consistent. So don't discount the small choices. Every single day, you're either building the life you want or you're not. There's no neutral. You're either moving forward or sliding backward. And it's the small, daily choices that determine which direction you're heading. Embracing discomfort. Let me tell you something that might be hard to hear. If you want to stop wasting your life, you're going to have to get uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. Going after your dreams is uncomfortable. Having honest conversations is uncomfortable. Taking risks is uncomfortable. Failing is uncomfortable. But you know what else is uncomfortable? Regret. Looking back and wishing you had tried. Wondering what could have been if you just had the courage to go for it. So you're going to be uncomfortable either way. You could be uncomfortable while you're growing, or you can be uncomfortable with regret. Choose your uncomfortable. The people who look back on their lives with satisfaction aren't the ones who played it safe. They're the ones who took chances, who faced their fears, who were willing to fail in pursuit of something meaningful. You have to be willing to look stupid, to make mistakes, to try things and fall flat on your face. Because that's where growth happens. That's where life happens. Playing it safe feels comfortable in the moment, but it leads to a life of what-ifs. Taking risks feels scary in the moment, but it leads to a life of I'm glad I tried. Your legacy. Here's my final thought for you today. Whether you realize it or not, you're building a legacy. Every day, through your actions and choices, you're writing the story of your life. The question is, what story do you want to tell? Do you want to be the person who let fear hold them back? Or the person who felt the fear and did it anyway? Do you want to be the person who settled for mediocrity? Or the person who demanded more from themselves? Do you want to be the person who wasted their potential? Or the person who squeezed every drop of juice out of this beautiful, crazy, short life we get? You don't get a practice run at this. You don't get a rough draft. This is it. This is your one life. And it's happening right now, whether you're ready or not. So please, don't waste it. Don't spend it doing things that don't matter. Don't spend it being someone you're not. Don't spend it playing small when you were meant for something bigger. Wake up. Show up. Be intentional. Take action. Make mistakes. Learn. Grow. Connect. Love. Create. Contribute. Live. Life is precious. Life is short. Life is happening right now. Don't waste it. That's all I have for you today on English Flow. I hope this episode sparked something in you. I hope it made you think. And more than that, I hope it makes you act. If this resonated with you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, the best time to start living intentionally was 10 years ago. The second best time is right now. Until next time, this is English Flow. Stay intentional, stay curious, and don't waste your life.